Welcome back to Women with a Call. Today we are looking at a very interesting woman with a call who is a native to the region of New Mexico and who actually has a very, very strong history in the area. So, our emphasis today will be that of women with a marketplace emphasis. And I'm really, really blessed to have my special guest with me, Esther V. Hill, joining us to share some information with us that you may not have known, but it'll be good to hear. God bless you. It's
Thank you
good
so
to
much.
have you with me.
I'm blessed for being here. Thank you for having me.
It's a blessing. Now, I don't want to go right into your outfit because it's gorgeous, but I know you're going to tell me about it. It
Oh,
is something that you do, right?
yes.
Embroidery. But before we go into the embroidery aspect, I need you to tell me something about your ancestors and how you really came to the point of embroidering. Okay,
Yes.
just whatever you want to share about that is good.
All right. Well, the first Spaniards that came to New Mexico to colonize was in 1598.
Okay.
They were the first Europeans who actually colonized the Americas, both North and South America. Anyway, when they came in 1598, they were welcomed at San Juan Pueblo, which is,
Okay.
yes,
I know the area.
yes, it's part of the Espanola Valley area. And so they were there, it was during the wintertime, they were there, and 6 months later they started migrating out. They went as far as the lower part of Colorado, but they always were within the area of the Rio Grande. They created irrigation because their way of life was to be farmers. They had come with livestock and equipment in order to be self-sustained. And this is what the farmers basically, and it was all Spanish-speaking people that migrated, like I say, all over New Mexico. The Queen had promised them land grants if they stayed and colonized
great.
for 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And so as they migrated out, they didn't stay in the Pueblo. As they migrated out, they chose lands, like I say, that were around the Rio Grande. And when they created the irrigation system, which was a very important thing for them,
Yes.
they even had mayordomos, which was like a guard who made sure that everybody got water in order to supply for their land. And as I say, I came 300 years later, but my mother.
Let me process that, okay?
Okay.
After your mother came.
After my mother came.
Okay,
Well,
after-
yes,
go ahead.
my mother actually was born in 1895.
Wow, that's
And
neat.
my grandfather, her father, was a sheep inspector and also a teacher in San Juan. And at first I couldn't understand how he could have been a teacher because there were no schools at that time.
Okay.
Everything, was done basically for needs. But as I understand it, he was teaching, obviously, the Indians to speak Spanish.
Okay.
And he was very instrumental in getting education to the family. He died very young, but he asked my grandmother, and there were 6 siblings. My mother was the oldest girl. And he would come to the dinner table and say to them, "All right, now what did you learn today?" And my mother was so anxious to be a part of a conversation that she said she even tried to go out and find something new in order to talk
So
to
she
them.
could talk about it.
Right,
But,
right.
let me just interject this. You mentioned the dinner table, how they would have discussions.
Yes.
even for today, that is an art, if I can use that, that is lost in so many settings.
This is
The ability and the desire for the family to come together at dinner. Do you think maybe perhaps, and I believe this, I just want your feedback, that it bonds the family?
Oh, yes, definitely. There
Okay.
were many things. Religion. The Spanish people were very religious.
Okay.
It was like a big family within the communities. They helped each other when there was harvest. They would make ristas of chili. They would
Go ahead.
they would help
Love
each
it.
other. But even going back to the fact that because of this religion, we also had another custom which was originated by the priest that we had in Santa Cruz. He had come in 1920 and he belonged to the Holy Family. So he started a custom of these nichos that contained the Holy Family to be rotated into 30 families.
Really?
Yes.
A community?
Yes.
Okay.
Within the
Within the
community.
community, okay.
Yes. And I remember as a child, very early, that we would get it on the 5th of every month. And this is still going on. There are probably over 20 or 30 families that are still continuing this thing.
Oh,
And the
that's
reason that
interesting.
I was telling you about this is because that also brought the family together.
Yes.
When this Sagrada Familia came into the home that morning, they would automatically open the doors and the Holy Family was exposed. In the evening time, the family would all get together and pray, say a novena, in order to complete this way of the purpose of the Holy Family.
Yes, yes.
And the next morning, the doors would be closed and it was passed on to the next family.
Oh, wow.
So there again, I was very fortunate to grow up in this type of environment very early in life.
Yes, and I would say the art that you present now was able to be perpetuated through the years because of that unity that we experienced.
Yes,
You're wearing a very attractive garment.
thank you.
And I want you to just be, we're going to go to break in a minute, okay? But briefly tell us what the name of the embroidery is that you've stitched, can I say stitched, onto this outfit.
This is called colcha embroidery.
Colcha?
Colcha. And
Colcha, okay.
yes, and colcha in Spanish means a blanket.
Okay, okay. A blanket, all right, go ahead.
Well, but the original stitch that was used was a couching stitch that came from crewel embroidery that was in existence in Europe for thousands of years.
Really?
Yes, and there's many stitches in crewel embroidery, but the Spaniards chose to use just the one stitch. And there was always the question as to why did they choose this stitch.
Oh, this is really good. So we're gonna come back shortly.
All right.
And when we do so, I need you to explain more about that. And we're going to show some of your embroidery, okay?
Thank you.
I'm so excited. I'm just sharing with our guests as to be healed.